put it on there? Maybe I'll just.
You could just be like next steps.
Me up when it's ready.
And I feel like I should eat now because I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. I think I got everything. Oh, just. That's a tough one.
Or
Really
never said.
tough.
No big deal.
Oh yeah, I would definitely rather go a day without eating than lose sleep.
Once you make sure the audio is
But
good,
that's me
it's like
personally.
starting soon.
Say that again?
Yeah,
When
that's
you get
true.
to how's the audio?
I don't know. It was the screen took. There it goes.
Yeah, just had to
I
put
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good. All right,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Acceptable?
Cool.
Excellent.
I'm gonna go ahead and set it to start. They don't have audio, but they're trying to get it off.
Okay, so yeah, it creates a track for it. They did. So,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
I actually
You
will,
are out of shot. You're
Let
good.
me see if I have any extras from that last time. Or I can print some more out.
All right, the camera's live.
Huzzah! It's a card to somebody, and I'm not gonna lie, I already forgot who.
The
It's a
chef.
card for Hope for the cooking that she did.
Hi there, how you doing? Hello, hello. Sequay.
Secret.
How you doing? Overworking underpaid just like everybody else. Like.
Just that.
Yes.
Just that.
Yeah.
Hi. Good to see ya. Glad you came.
Yes.
Yeah, we are live streaming tonight.
Awesome. So glad I could tell you.
I think that you might be in a good spot to not have too much vegetables.
All yours.
This is literally the spray I asked to try to get.
I hope I wake up beautiful.
You're totally
Extra just Is that when you hair?
This,
Because that's how it started. I got it on one and it bled out right away. And then I got this one and it's obviously
I'm
not
sorry
that.
that I missed Arctic Fox.
They have
The
it.
biologist. And it's
I don't know if
wrapped.
they'll do it.
Your neck is
It's
It's summer.
I'd
I'd say
really
it's-
heartburn first wash it.
It's not as bad as like splat. Like splat, that's a murder scene. It's a murder scene.
I was like,
exactly what
I
it is. Yeah. Tarantino directed my bathroom.
Yes. Oh my gosh, and I went to rent in his room because I know it. Put plastic all over the walls.
It always sounds, because
I like plastic. I didn't want to
It's a serial killer, you know?
It was. I felt like Dexter. And it took a long time. I was like, this guy put some effort into it.
Yeah.
Just for like a little.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Well, whoever's listening, I hope that didn't hurt. There we go. We just gotta tilt this a little bit.
Arctic Fox is the brands, and this one's Wrath. Poison is pretty good too, though.
We have Sequake pizza in the kitchen too and salad. Hi, Marie. How are you? Good, and you? I'm doing great. Thanks.
Oh, it's not bad. There it is. Print that. Prints. 1008?
1008, yes.
That's what I want to know.
Hi, Mitch. Good? I'll go grab her.
Oh,
I got her.
brain delay. This is the off-camera area.
It is like, let's get on. How you doing?
Just frazzling.
just running. Busy days because the sun's been out. So.
Oh.
Winter we had, yeah.
Everyone's taller than us. It's very funny. Just thank you for the other days. Yeah.
Just let it go.
I know, that's what's.
All right, so I do have some photo releases if anybody wants to sign one or decline to sign one. Is a photo release. So we can use your photo on film.
film.
I believe so.
Different chairs.
I think for anyone who wasn't sure.
If you'd like to be off camera, the central spots are pretty
Yeah,
well out of
central
frame.
column.
I like this chair. All right, so this is just so you can put this thing on.
Flash,
Yeah.
Put it later. Yeah, if you're watching your brand stream.
I have to sign this or I'm just like, well, that's a really hard choice.
I'm like,
It's just a signature. What's it worth?
yeah, I like that. It's good stuff.
I don't think I've met you here.
Six. Straight nerds.
My name is Aya Mahan.
Ida?
Aya with a Y. Yeah. Hi. Ron, thanks for coming today.
So is this just to stream what's going on?
Yeah. We're right now. We got live video right there.
We need more seats.
Good.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the wrong spot. I really don't feel like
We may need to add one more table. Do we have enough space? Someone can sit here too.
So this is just for today, or is this every time you do this?
It's just for, it's just a general form for
Forevermore.
forevermore.
In perpetuity.
You're signing away your life, but don't worry about it.
I'm getting. This is just for
Just say general.
Yeah, that's the one. You did.
In this world of surveillance cameras, it's kind of shocking that somebody asks permission.
I know. Well, it's the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
I don't need anybody to come back and say, oh, you didn't inform us.
Having worked for a school forever, so we always had.
I think that's what it stemmed from.
We had to do that. Whenever my club had an activity, I had to know which kids could and couldn't
Yeah.
be included in a group or.
I know, I have a few pictures of our school gardens. And there's pictures of kids in there. And I'm hoping there was a photo release for them.
Well, there are also rules about group chats. I mean, I'm out of practice now, but I used to just stay up on what was the
Right.
term of art for group shots.
Yes.
And then there were the kids who would graciously turn around if they needed to.
Yeah, right? I did a lot of hand shots. So you get their hands and no face.
I liked winter clothes.
All right. Well, I think we're still waiting for a few people. Yeah, just go tell them we're gonna get started, maybe.
Are you putting our phone numbers and stuff up online?
Of course. Just kidding.
No, we're not sharing personally identifiable data.
I don't have the wherewithal to do that right now.
That's way more work than I'm willing to do.
I'm not the NSA,
Are you sure?
as far as I was told.
Can you prove it?
They're not gonna.
Is anything provable?
Nah, I mean, preach.
Everything is subjective. There is no objective.
Yeah.
All right.
Working hard.
Oh, where'd the box of grapefruits?
Oh, yeah, what happened to the grapefruit quest?
I didn't find any.
Oh, really?
You want me to go get some?
Oh,
I think it'd be a good place to give out grapefruit. There's only like 70 boxes in the van.
no.
We have an
So
excess
we're running
amount of
low, is
grapefruit.
what you're saying.
Take home a box, right, Marina?
If everyone takes one box of grapefruits, this will put a
I'm
dent.
looking forward to hearing I'm looking forward to hearing all the news.
If anyone wants to cross streets.
Ray is just observing.
I like
Off streets.
I'm just getting back from vacation, so I'm just observing my staff running, cleaning, and things.
Yeah. Cameras are
Very
there.
highly competent staff.
The seat next to you, David, is also, nobody can see that person.
Well, she was
No,
still
no,
right
no.
in the nursery. She was working pretty
Or-
hard. And she was checking some emails.
Oh, yeah, now they didn't see you.
I'm good. How are you?
I found your tomatillas and I'm happy
I
forever.
heard.
I'm really happy
This month
forever.
it didn't totally surprise me. Every month I'm like, I can't.
I like them or I go ahead and
And
sing
this
to
month
them.
I was like,
I just can't believe it's already
They're really
May.
pretty plants.
That's what keeps blowing my mind.
yes.
And they produce good stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I hope everybody got some pizza and salad. We got some pizza from Seaquake tonight. Also, we have Redwood Voice here live streaming our meeting tonight. So super grateful to be able to extend our reach to our community at large. We have a few things. I guess we'll start with an icebreaker. And because we're going to give a little presentation today on some updates and projects that we've been doing the last few months, which is kind of like a presentation. So we kind of have an icebreaker where we're going to stand up and move our bodies a little bit. So I know you guys are eating, but this will be a quick activity and then you get back to it. So we'll all stand up. So the whole focus of this icebreaker is would you rather, and we're gonna be choosing two sides of the room. So I'm thinking we'll actually maybe do it right over here and have one side be this side and the other on the other side. So they're mostly food related questions. The first one being, would you rather eat food that was really healthy for you but tasted horrible? Or would you rather eat something that tasted great but was bad for you? So I guess we'll do healthy food
What's the
that
shame
tastes
side?
terrible on this side and food that tastes great but is bad for you on this side.
Where is it? Taste great side?
Where's the food that tastes great and
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Which is the
doesn't taste good, which I think is like healthy food can taste good, but healthy food that doesn't taste good or good food or tasty food that isn't good
What
for
if
you.
you like to alternate?
It's just for a one time. Some of these questions are going to be hard to answer, but you got to make a choice. So would you rather have to lose a night of sleep, we'll have on this side, or not get to eat for a day? So you're choosing between losing a night of sleep or losing a day of eating. I have to, I can't lose my sleep. Okay, next one. Would you rather eat something over salted or under salted? And then the next one is, would you rather hand chop your food or use a machine? Right here or a catering event? Okay.
Yeah.
These
And,
are happening.
The other ones will be interesting. Would you rather always cook your own food or never cook your own food? Ooh. So always cooking your own food or never cooking your own food? Yeah. All right. The other one.
Always is a lot.
I don't think you can eat out all the time.
And then the next one, would you rather have fruity desserts or chocolate?
where's chocolate?
Chocolate is on the other side, fruity dessert is here.
Chocolate, fruit. Yes.
And then we'll do
Chocolate.
coffee or tea. Would you rather drink coffee or next
Because it
one
makes me
building
feel
on
it.
that is, do you drink your coffee black or with cream?
Where's the cream?
Over here. And
Strong.
I think we'll leave it on this one unless anyone has anyone that they want to include. But you're in charge of the world. Would you rather we eat things from the sea or things from the land for the rest of time?
What was it?
So eat things from the sea or things from the land?
Just things, vegetables.
Vegetables, anything, everything. Even though we all live by the ocean, we're all still here on our land side. And then, would you rather eat a meal from a restaurant or from home? And I know we kind of already did that one with cooking. It depends who's cooking.
Yeah.
Anyone, your favorite
I don't know
one.
about these questions.
They're supposed to be hard and you have to make a decision.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, yeah.
Definitely going to my fancy restaurant.
Does anybody have any other, like, would you rathers that they want to throw out there?
Would you rather stand on this side of the room?
Another one we had was like, would you rather go hiking at the ocean or the beach? Or excuse me, the beach or the forest?
Would you rather walk on the
It's
water
still going, you
or
can do
on
both
the
simultaneously.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay, Sebastian narrated.
Cold. I didn't get.
Right.
They
Yes.
gave us this like
Oh, I like
10
that.
minutes
Would you
before.
rather eat pasta in a
Yeah, I
bowl?
probably
or
could have
pasta
sent you
on
something
plate?
sooner if I had thought about it.
Oh, I'm
What
definitely on
happens?
a bowl.
I like pasta.
Say la vie.
on a
This is the
plate.
first one.
Yeah, plates and mix it all together is my favorite.
And those edges for a reason.
All right, well, that was my idea to get us moving and thinking and.
Thank you.
Should we do intros real quick?
Yeah, that sounds great. So now we'll just kind of go around the circle and introduce ourselves. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Aya Mahan, and I'm the food program manager here at the Community Food Council.
I can go next. My name is Meredith Knowles. I'm the Strategic Initiatives and Grants Coordinator also for the Community Food Council.
I'm Marie Reeder. I'm a member of the advisory board.
My name's Ron Snyder. I recently moved to town from San Diego, and I've worked in community services for a long time, and I'd like to see what you all are doing here and see if I can find a place to help out.
Great, welcome. Thanks.
My name is David Olkowski. I'm into food production and renewable energy and things like that. Friendly people who care about the world.
I'm Esther. My husband and I have a small ranch. We raise beef and horses and doing produce this summer. Amazing. Yeah.
I'm part of our advisory board.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, I'm Kevin Milieu with Elk Valley Rancho David. I sit on tribal council and I am also the cultural specialist. I'm also involved with disc golf, I'm president of the Wild Rivers Disc Golf Club. And I'm mainly here to see where Elk Valley might fit into the food sovereignty scenario. I don't know if we've ever taken that too seriously. We've never really ventured into that. However, I think our long-term goals is a good fit.
I'm Jen Schmidt. I'm from the advisory committee. I own a restaurant in town, and ensuring food security for people is very important work I have to be part of.
My name is Marina Maffio, and I'm the food operations manager for the Community Food Council.
I'm Rachel Mayer, and I'm a backyard gardener / upstart farmer up in Nation.
I'm Jerry Elway. I run Smith River Organic Farm in Smith River. And what's important to me is food sovereignty for our area and eliminating food deserts.
Howdy, I'm nicknamed Stella. I'm a realtor here in town. We
see good food for all the people within our county and I believe that the Delaware County Food Council, and Jason Tribal Lands Community Food Council is going to make that happen. Yeah.
I'm Drea Langton. I'm the food program director for the Community Food Council.
Hi, Jerry. I'm Amanda Doctor. I'm not a real doctor. I'm here because they pay me, but also because I care, like a lot, like it's kind of a problem.
Sweet. I'm here for the same reason. I care. My name's Yvonne, and I'm just trying to, get involved in my community and see where I can fit in and help out as well.
I'm Dave Salmon. I have an orchard and small farm, lots of veggies and herbs and chickens, chickens, pigs, and ducks. And I'm president of the Wild Rivers Permaculture Guild.
Hi. I'm Angela Gray. I'm the Food Forest Program Manager, and I work for the Community Food Council.
Thanks so much, everybody, for making it tonight. We do have a card that has circulated once. Maybe we'll send it around one more time for Hope, who's been cooking for our food council meetings for the last 4 months, January through April. So I'll pass that around. Did everybody get to sign that?
No.
Okay, we'll pass that down. Then the next thing that I wanted to do is just kind of go over a lot of the work that we have been doing at the Food Council and some of the projects that we've done, some of the events that we've been at and hosted, and just kind of give the group an update on some of our projects that we're working on. So I created a little spreadsheet, a presentation to kind of provide some pictures, and I guess the first thing we'll talk about is our food distribution. Spring is in the air, and we're able to buy some local produce and products a lot easier now. We have 2 new egg producers, and one of them came from our March workshop on how to sell to the pantry, which is exciting to see direct. And I don't know, Marina, did you say we got a few more producers as well from that workshop?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
working on coming in. So we're bringing in some new local producers in springtime, yes.
So the meeting that they had on how to sell pantry stuff, did they take that, or is it on YouTube or anything?
We are working on a small video, and Amanda just sent me the first draft of it, so we're working on that, and we should have that up and ready before Farmers Market starts in June.
I would like to see that kind of thing.
Yep. And then I just put a little bit of statistical information in terms of how many families we're serving with our Pacific Pantry, our mobile market, and some of our other food distribution. Another really exciting thing to note is that our Harvest Box, which is a subscription CSA essentially, is going to be starting in June. And how that works is local producers supply the box, so it's full of local products, and then people sign up for individual shares, whether it's for produce or cheese and dairy, and it's just another way to get local food to the community. We do have an upcoming workshop on egg certification and food safety, and this is kind of a follow-up for our March workshop that we had on selling to the farmers market and selling to our food pantry. There was a lot of interest in selling eggs, and I know we've talked about it in our steering council meetings as well, in how to increase egg production in our local area. So, I don't know if you guys knew this, but even if you have 1 chicken as a pet, you're technically in California supposed to have an egg handler certification, especially if you want to sell your eggs. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of us may have chickens and no egg handler certification, but we are going to walk people through the process of becoming certified, which is very simple, but it does have a cost associated with it. But the goal is to increase local eggs in our food pantry and at our farmers markets. And we'll also be going over food safety plans. We have a video from CAF that we'll be sharing that's going to go over an overview of a food safety template And part of the reason we're doing that part of this workshop is that we got a bunch of funding, LFPA funding, to purchase local food, but we can only purchase it from farmers who have a food safety plan for their farms. So we're really trying to break down that barrier and allow people to come to this workshop and leave essentially with their food safety plans started and in place, so that they don't have that obstacle. To break that down, we're having Megan Kinney from North Coast Growers Association down in Humboldt come up to help field and answer questions for that as well. Also, exciting news, 3 of our food council staff, 2 of which are in the building right now, just completed their master food preserver class, which was a long time. It was 3 months? 3 months of classes. So we're gonna be doing some workshops on food preservation, and we have one coming up in June on strawberry jam making. Some other recent events, we had our the Seed and Plant Exchange, which was a huge success. I don't know how many of you all were there, but there was like hundreds of people that came through that day. It was the first of an annual event, and we had seeds, or there were seeds, plants, and then vendors. The Food Council had a table. We were able to sell and distribute some of our merch, which we do have t-shirts. I was thinking if anybody on the steering committee wants t-shirts, we have some t-shirts as well, and stickers. And one thing that was really awesome about this Seed and Plant Exchange was that we had workshops during the day. So there was 3 different workshops that people could go to, and it really, yes, 4 workshops. And it instead of just like, here's all these seeds, it really gave the community an option to learn what to do with those seeds, and not just like, here, take them, go home and plant them, but some real guidance. So I thought that was a great aspect of that event as well. We've also been at a few career fairs tabling. We had great success at the high school career fair. They had a CTE career fair. We were able to pass out local peas and carrots from Ocean Air Farms, and it was amazing to see how much the high school students just gravitated towards fresh produce. And it was something so different than what all the other vendors, they were coming back around, and then other employers who were there were coming around and being like, oh, this is where all the kids got their carrots, we're seeing them munch on. So that was really awesome to kind of shift in terms of shifting food culture, to like go to that event, and it brought students who were interested in healthy food and agriculture, and we were able to share some summer job opportunities working in our food forest, and make connections with some of the agriculture teachers there as well, which was great. So we're bringing high school students into our food forest to do some hands-on projects. And then, of course, our steering committee and food council meetings. As you all know, I don't know how much, but we do have 12 members of our steering committee acting as an advisory board for programs, projects, and yeah, in April we discussed fundraising and our gap in funding. And then we also talked about the NOAA Dock to Dish program last month, if you were here. And yeah, this meeting is open to the public as well, the light dinner served. Some other grants that we had spoken about back in January, one of them is our Beginner Farmer Training Grant, and I just wanted to give a little update on that grant. Right now we're really spreading outreach for a climate resilient farmer training program that is in connection to CR in Eureka, as well as the North Coast Growers Association. But it is providing sustainable strategies for climate resilience and adaptations in farming, with focusing on like reduced water usage, seed saving practices, carbon farming, and other tools to create resilient farmers for Humboldt and Del Norte specifically, which I think is really unique to this program. It is 2 workshop sessions. It's free for participants, although you do have to apply. And then if you complete the program, there's a $500 stipend associated with that as well. So I think this is a great program that we've been sharing on our website and social media, but I wanted to make sure our steering committee knew about this program as well. And then there is a land match program that we're going to start creating in June. So there's some fun updates that'll be coming soon, hopefully, for that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me too.
Are you going to email this to us?
I can, yes. If you would like it, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, not from here.
Oh, is it hard to read it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. Just-
And then we have our regional food systems grant. So this grant, we're in partnership with Humboldt County, Mendocino, Sonoma, and Marin counties, as well as the UC Cooperative Extension. And the goal of this grant is to address both chronic food insecurity as well as crisis food insecurity by incorporating local food into emergency feeding plans. So we have a press release coming out soon. We've been working with our core group from all the counties, creating like a regional press release that is going through the ladder to get published. And then we're also gonna have a local press release coming soon. We're starting to plan our focus groups, really focusing on the locations for these, as well as the community leaders that we want to be at the focus groups. So we have met with the Office of Emergency Services for Del Norte County, who's excited to work with us on this grant, and we have an associated activity coming up. There's going to be an emergency training scenario on May 17th, creating a temporary evacuation point in Smith River that will provide resources. So it's like the spot where people would come if they like to collect themselves, find out what resources were available, and then go to their next step of the evacuation. But the scenario is a wildfire, and so there'll be evacuees coming in from Washington and Oregon, hypothetically, and how would we serve them? What resources would we be able to provide in California to out-of-state residents? So I feel like that'll be a great scenario that will help guide and inform the Regional Food Systems Grant. And then another really exciting project that has kind of taken off, that was part of our TCE grant, was to create one food pantry in the schools. And we have partnered with the school district, and now it's not going to be at one school, but all schools equitably. So what is a care closet? A care closet is a spot at every school where kids can go to access food, they can access hygiene products, school supplies, clothing, like sweats, t-shirts, socks, underwear, simple things. So the school district is super in support of this and is helping to implement this district-wide starting next fall. Is the goal. So it's really exciting to be able to have pantries essentially in the school. It won't be food that will be accessible during school because the school already has its own like plan of food that they provide for students, but it will be something when there's a need, they can access this closet, get food to take home. And there's also the development of a weekend backpack program where students would get a bag of food with on Fridays to provide them with food for the weekend, and that's something that they would sign up for. So we've partnered with the Director of Nutrition Services at the school district, as well as the Director of the Homeless and Foster Youth Services, to really kind of create an oversight committee. We've started a pilot care closet at Joe Hamilton School, which is really exciting, and we're learning from that, like standard operating procedures, how to track the food. So it's a very exciting up and coming project that the Food Council will be partnered with the school district on. And then our Promised Neighborhoods, we have some amazing new food forest partnerships. Ange has been working with the ag construction class. They built garden beds for the food forest. And then ironically, the ornamental horticulture CTE program was designing bulb beds for their flower growing class for the same size as garden beds that the agricultural construction class built. So it worked out really beautifully that the students students from the ag construction built the boxes, and then the students from the ornamental horticulture program will be able to plant those boxes, which I think is really exciting. And we're really working on creating a CTE program utilizing our food forest as a place where students can create an enterprise. So it's really exciting to see students getting out in the food forest, realizing that that is a space for them to create. Also, the food forest is officially a pollinator haven, and the CR biology class planted a butterfly garden and then was able to register it. So we got these beautiful new signs at the food forest. We're also working with the TPP workability program and hosting 2 youth interns at the food forest this summer for camp. So that was something when we were at the Donor High School career fair. We were able to share those job opportunities with students, and we've been doing some food forest in-person field trips as well. And I think I'm almost done. We also have been working in the schools. We've got some amazing projects going on at school gardens with our Garden Explorers Club at Crescent Elk. They've been clearing beds. We got some donations of soil and compost, and the kids are really eager to get out there and get to work. Crescent Elk has so much potential to grow a ton of food for the students. So this was our first meeting. We harvested beets and cut the beets up right there in the garden and let all the kids try them, and that was really awesome to see their faces light up, pulling something that looks so strange and then eating it and actually kind of enjoying it. Similarly, we were at Margaret Keating. Margaret Keating did something really special. Some of you were there as volunteers. I know they did a whole seed planting day where everyone in the school got to plant seeds that'll be grown in the food sovereignty forest. So that was really fun. The Garden Explorers helped set that up that day. It was really a rainy day for that first day of Garden Explorers, so they stayed mostly inside. And we set the seed planting up in the gym, which was amazing how fast it got cleaned up afterwards too. So we were inside, we were all concerned. And then in Smith River, I know that they had a full day, their first day, just working in the garden beds up at Smith River. I think they spent like all 3 hours just clearing and planting and designing their garden beds. Yes, Terry?
So I just wanted to add for Margaret Keating, they're actually also putting in an orchard, and that's coming up. It's funded by an outside orchard planting society or something. So that's going to be also a big thing with fencing and trees and everything.
Amazing.
Yeah, really excited.
That's this Saturday? That's this Saturday.
Yeah. From 9 to 4.
9 to 4. I can send out that as well as this spreadsheet because I've seen a flyer for that. I know there's a flyer.
They need as many as they can get there because the organization says they have to have like a minimum of 20.
Gotcha.
To be able to get it all done. Putting up fences, digging holes for trees, planting trees. I don't know if we'll get it all done.
Nice. Thank you.
Or better.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I think they're also providing lunch.
Okay. And then our last meeting, we had talked about fundraising. So I wanted to just kind of revisit that. And I think that our core team met and decided to move forward with these 3 goals, which are attainable for us, we think. But Drea, did you want to speak a little bit more to the fundraising?
Sure. So these were 3 things we were kind of already planning on doing, so it's no new projects. And they kind of work well over the next couple of months. So the first one is a Mighty Cause campaign. It's a crowdfunding site where we basically make a page that explains, tells our story, what we're trying to do, and then we can share it across social media, across emails, our website, and people can either donate once or they can sign up to donate monthly. That program also has the potential to set up teams, so if we want to do like fun things, if people like trying to raise money from different teams, So our hope is to launch that in June. And anyone that would be interested in helping with that specific project, you'd be helping to like tell our story and the gap funding that we need, helping us to find a match donation so that up to a certain amount it will be matched. Researching and deciding whether we want to use our team fundraising function, forwarding the campaign to contacts and making sure it gets out there, and then approaching individuals and organizations to donate towards the campaign. So we are planning to launch that in June, and then our next fundraising event would be a harvest dinner or harvest festival event at the Food Forest in September. We've already been planning on doing a local food campaign in September because it's local food month like across the country, and we've already wanted to redo a harvest event at the Food Forest. So anyone that'd be interested in helping with that, we'd be deciding kind of the date and time and what activities we want to do, getting approval from CR, poster, deciding if we're going to have like a chef and a place to cook and what the menu is going to be and locally sourced food and helping to get all those event details together. The third one will be in December, and that would be redoing our Empty Bowls fundraiser that we did about 2 years ago. And so that would be booking a venue, starting to help us get ceramic bowls donated from artists. We'd need probably at least 100, if not 200. We have to plan how many people we wanted to attend the event based on the venue that we picked. The last time we did it was at the Cultural Center, and I liked it there, but open to other places. We would start talking to local restaurants and cooks to donate soup and bread and dessert, silent auction items, music, decorations, activities. So sort of June to August, we'll be doing our crowdfunding. September would be our Harvest Fest, and then December would be our Empty Bowls. So we do have a sign-up sheet. We're hoping steering committee, community members would sign up, and then we would kind of have like a little fundraising subcommittee that would meet, and hoping maybe there's 1 or 2 people that want to take a lead on each of these things. So, and this is to cover a gap in funding for the Pacific Pantry and Mobile Pantry. That's funded by a City Development Block Grant, and we are anticipating 6-month gap in funding due to nothing that we have control over. And that gap in funding would be January 2024 to June 2024. And so we're looking to raise about $60,000 to $120,000. We do have some other grants that will cover some gaps in funding, but it takes approximately $60,000 a quarter every 3 months to run both our pantries. And that's all our staff, all our vehicles, all our gas, all our supplies, all the food we buy. So, yeah. I will pass the sign-up sheet around. There's 2 of them, so it could go both ways and end up back around.
All right, now I'm going to pass it over to Meredith, and she's going to go over our mission statement and our goals and values.
Awesome. And Drea, do you still need 20 minutes at the end?
No.
No, okay. We rearranged. Awesome. Okay. So, the reason why I wanted to bring this up today, so we are going to be revisiting a couple pieces of our guiding framework of the Food Council. One being the mission statement, one being what I've kind of named our structure statement, and then the third being like values and other kind of considerations that we want to have as part of our framework. And the reason why we're bringing this up is the Food Council has grown and changed pretty tremendously in a pretty short amount of time. We've grown from a staff of just a couple of people to almost 15. We have a whole bunch of grants. We're a food bank now, and all of this has happened in a pretty short amount of time. And so we're at the right moment to kind of go back to that original mission statement and see, one, is this still reflective of what we're doing? And on the flip side, is what we're doing still in line with what our mission statement is? Also with the structure, with the Food Council and kind of a new steering committee, I wanted to look back at that. And the two other reasons that I wanted to bring this up is we really need to be able to tell our story in the community. We recognize being out at a couple of tabling events over the last few months, people will be like, hey, you know, what does the Food Council do? And all of a sudden we're like, where do we start? There's so much. We don't have like an easy story to tell externally. And that's actually really important with all of the partnerships that we've been building and the opportunity to build new partnerships. We need to be able to really communicate what we stand for and what we're doing and why. And that why part is the third reason why I wanted to bring this up, is we are doing so much work and we're really at like a workload capacity point, probably well over capacity, if we're being honest. And we need a framework to be able to prioritize what we're doing now and how do we collectively as staff and steering committee, there's a lot more of us than just 3 people sitting around a table. How do we know what to say yes to? How do we know what to say no or not right now? How do we prioritize? What's the framework that we're all kind of agreeing to? And so I brought this up with our all-staff meeting a couple of weeks ago, but I also wanted to bring it to the steering committee as our advisory board to help provide some input on some of these pieces. And so I've put 4 questions up on the projector, or Aya has put them up on the projector, and then I also have them posted around the room. I want to give people time to reflect on these questions. And so the first is just reflect on the current mission statement, and the one that we have on the website is our mission is to build a vibrant local food system that provides affordable, healthy food to all Donato families. So just open reflection on that. And the second is reflect on our current structure statement. Currently, it says the Donato Community Food Council is a group of individual residents and agency representatives. We're working together to build a local food system that provides healthy, culturally appropriate food for all families in Del Norte and tribal lands. This is linked to our mission statement, but I do see it as distinct. And with kind of the relaunching and reforming of the steering committee, again, just kind of open reflection on what you think would be more reflective and accurate, if it would need to be changed. And then the third question is, what values are important for Food Council staff and steering committee members to work by, work towards, and uphold in our vision? And then I have a fourth, which is just, other considerations, other reflections that you may have. And I want to give people kind of different ways to engage with this. So Aya has passed out some Post-it notes. We put some pens and markers on the table. And I wanted to give us about 15 minutes to write down any thoughts you might have and put them on the respective question. If you don't want to write and think quietly and you want to talk to your neighbor and kind of chat it out, that's totally fine too. Just someone take notes and maybe jot a couple of those thoughts down. But just reflect and talk amongst yourselves as you feel comfortable. And then we'll come back in 15 minutes and I'll kind of pull some themes that I see on the boards. We'll also give people time to share as a group. So that way there's kind of, you can let the information simmer, you can think as it's comfortable for you and respond. And if there's a chat function, we'll monitor that as well and that. Does anyone have any questions before?
My hearing is so bad, I can hardly follow you.
Oh,
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
Not the voice, it's the speed. Do you have this written on a piece of paper?
It's on the
Yes.
screen
And it's
Okay, I'll read it.
and on these papers.
Yep, so there's 4 pieces of paper, there's 2 on this wall, there's 2 on this fridge. They are the same questions that are on this board right here. So don't feel the need to be quiet, definitely feel free to.
Is it something that you absolutely want to change, or are you just kind of just checking in to see if this is something that represents the current?
I think it's a check-in point.
Okay.
Just to make, the consensus may be the mission statement's perfect, the structure statement's perfect, and it accurately describes what we're doing. It is also an opportunity to reflect on all of the projects that Aya went over us doing and kind of checking in and saying, hey, does all of that match? It's not to say that we're changing the mission statement or we're changing the way we're working. It's just making sure that those two are in alignment and seeing where if at all, there are discrepancies or needs to change.
And
Yeah.
I think too, part of it was that, like, the structure statement was created before we had a steering committee, right?
Yes.
So things have changed a little bit.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. So I will, yes, 15 minutes, I'll bring us back together again.
I see the first two.
For those of you listening at home,
Where is that
if you want
one?
to send
The structure
in,
one is
now
right
is
behind
the
Amanda's
time to
head.
drop it in the
So
YouTube
that-
chat
okay.
when we really need that.
All right.
Yeah, so
15 minutes.
the one on the left here
I
is the
see.
mission
Right.
statement, and the one on the right is the structure statement.
So am I correct that if, I believe that this, the community council has outgrown the parent organization? That's really
Marina had an idea that they make a year if you give us a percentage. Doesn't
That comes out of the Is that an appropriate?
You could put that under structure. You could also put it in the like kind of open-ended other reflections or thoughts you feel are important. Yeah, that's absolutely the kind of thing that you can put on there.
So that is, I did make these, and so it is kind of like a list of the things based on the event, and we can go with the CR and just have you scribble more.
The question I came here with.
And I think when DMK as long as it's like how we have that little, like beer
This is
garden.
a local food system
Oh, for the food hub?
that provides affordable.
We avoided that altogether in this meeting because it's very unknown at this point. At least
And that's fine, but is that in the decision spending? It doesn't go through. Is a decision, but we have to hold our breath for another.
Food bank
There is
outside of Belmont County.
direction from
part of
the board
Yeah.
to proceed with either looking for a warehouse building in Crescent City Limits or Smith River, but not to move forward with like a
How did you arrive at those?
How did we arrive at these? Oh, that's yeah. So that would have been actually maybe Drea can help fill in the history. When the food council was originally formed,
The food council is a project
yes,
of family nurture,
resources.
resource center.
Yeah.
It was not, and
Yeah, I love
it grew like topsy. I'm sorry. This is why you hired me. And does phenomenal things for, primarily for poor families, and particularly for children at risk and young children. They do phenomenal things. Food was part of it. My understanding is that they fund this because.
I'm sure they do, I'm sure you do phenomenal things. I like your mission statement. I like short mission statements. I
Yeah.
wouldn't add anything to either one of those things. Those seem pretty comprehensive to me, and the more you add, the more confusing it gets.
That's true. That's very
So I was
true.
just wondering if this was something you came out with, or it was a committee.
It came up about. Do you remember when the food council was formed? Do you know that?
I feel like it was 13 years ago.
I don't know if this year 2010. It used to be, what's funny, so there used to be, it was called the program, and there were two staff members. There were two family resource centers staff members who ran a food program, and the community food council was the original iteration of the steering committee. And so the council was what the steering committee kind of is now, and that council came up with the mission statement.
Okay, so the group decision that you worked on and came up with.
Yeah, but it was a much smaller, we didn't do anything related to food distribution. We did not have a food pantry. We weren't a food bank at that point. It was primarily cooking workshops and outreach events. And doing
All right, that's fair.
so it was, yeah. I mean, it is definitely short, simple.
You see the need, you need to respond.
Yeah.
You know, so of course you're gonna grow and overextend yourself each time.
So just a check-in point. And remind me of your name again? You know, you introduced yourself. Remind me of your name. Ron? Nice to meet you.
And then
I hear what you guys came up with. I have a feeling it's really good between both of you.
Okay.
feeding place and volunteer for events.
I have a lot of experience with,
Sovereignty, yeah.
Towards feeding each other instead of relying
Case manager for the homeless
Right.
community for about 5 years in San Diego.
I wrote really towards sustainable local food economy, which essentially is. Thank you for doing that. Because I think that's a key thing. And it encompasses so much.
So much notice you put in the paper.
We already have.
Actually, we should tell Amanda.
2 or 3 months
She
ago.
found us through the ad as a triplicate.
So a lot
That's so
of
funny.
food distribution.
All right, the more you know.
Yes.
Food on
all right
folks,
then.
just give them a lot of choice.
Awesome. Glad to hear.
I know, I gotta keep talking because I know these aren't organic. I'm just gonna eat them. Put my local honey on it.
I've been walking around, these blocks for a while, and kept noticing it. And I saw the note in the paper.
Well, I feel like the structure would be,
See what that's all about.
Good.
we have our
I really
steering
like
committee,
the idea, especially the food pantries
and
in
then
the school.
our staff.
That's one of my pet peeves. I think
What else is part of our structure?
we're
FRC.
eating our children. We're defunding health, we're defunding education.
And then our community
Child poverty rate.
and partner organizations.
It's fair.
I have been leading the work on the care process. That's been
Partner organizations
really good
and
to see. I'm curious. I can grab some coffee while we have
Community
a
groups.
momentary break.
Because there's like community groups that, right? I went to the Resilience and Auto meeting. Yeah, it was good. That's where I got our icebreaker activity idea from, because we did the similar thing, different questions, but similar thing. From other meetings. Actually, you're the one who gave me that idea.
That's why I go to meetings, so that I can see the icebreaker idea.
I like flying.
So this is our mission and this is our structure.
And then we want our vision. Our vision is that food sovereignty. I know, we did it. We did it. Okay, I'm gonna go put my stickies up now.
Yeah.
I did. I sent some by me and Ange. Okay.
So like you think within the structure statement it should have info about like education and food distribution?
It's just obviously all the programs.
like break down what a local
Let's
pizza
presume that most people would rather eat local or
because right, the local food system is like production and
Yeah, and everybody has kids that they market to make it so there is a demand.
we could like,
Hey, see, now we have options for that. Mission
we
accomplished.
could burn down the convenience
Take care.
Perfect. Food councils. Vision.
Okay, that's about it.
What values?
well, we'll create more demand for other food. We get rid of the junk.
Statement, churches,
They have.
That's hard.
Is budget related?
I don't believe so.
It's also federally overseen and very strict. Very strict. Very strict.
They are also they want so they don't care what's
Pizza every Friday.
well, this one has an ability to
Very good.
I know. Well, I will support it in there. I have 4 chickens.
Do a little tray.
My daughter was which I love. I haven't done it yet, but I would imagine,
Lunch is great for you.
I'm sure there's other things you can do. But I was very surprised to have certificate.
Well, one thing that's missing that I think is a little shocking is getting it correct. So there's like,
Yes, that's part of what I'm manifesting.
All you're doing.
Part of what I'm
but I did want to read the
And at the very least, you can get receipts, because it's always.
And if there's something that's for us,
Right. I think it'd be good to have them. It's like for my family, that's part of the mission statement of the structure and what we're doing.
that's the way they do it.
I think if there's,
One way.
we have them in like one of those old folders. I think in like the steering committee folder. I think there's like
What are you looking
a
for?
slide, just the 5 goals.
Is this for any particular reason other than just thanking her?
Thanking her for cooking for us.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Terry.
Nothing like, bad happened or something, okay.
No, just to thank her because she's done cooking for us now.
At least as far as you know, right?
She got married to me, but since then.
I'm like,
Well, that was a long time ago.
I'm sure a lot of bad things. Hopefully nothing recently, though.
So before you go, I want to talk to you a little bit about the avocado.
Okay.
Since she's, versus she was interested. I Xeroxed a couple of pages out of some of the book I have, which talks a little bit about obligation. And I remember, I don't know their time A or time B, we have to figure that out. And I know that the time they do cuttings, a certain time of year.
And,
I
it's
glanced,
looking pretty good. There's like a little bit of a
I know
delay.
it
You can
says,
see like
and I
Sandra's
didn't
just
find
now
it.
standing up.
I glanced at it quickly, recently, but that's what I figured out.
You're two places at once. Technology.
I'll see if I think I have it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. There's 4 whole people watching, and I'm sure half of them aren't even us. Thank you. Yeah, and Yvonne just here just now, she's like, oh great, I can leave early and watch the rest, and I'm not gonna miss it. People can do the thing.
How's John doing?
How are we doing on time? We got about a few more minutes.
We'll do 2 more.
All right, we have about 2 more minutes until we're gonna come back together as a group.
Do you want me to set a timer? Okay.
Support for existing establishment using community values.
Oh wait, that was for values.
You just really want lack of distraction.
Yeah, so I gave you a couple pages.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So you're raising ducks. Do they require less grain? Can you get by with less grain?
We let them out early in the morning and they forage for snails and slugs that would normally eat my seedlings. And so the ducks are there for pest control. And then we put them in the pen around 3 o'clock in the night and then they go.
Okay, I was just thinking if you want to do an emergency food project, ducks would be useful just because they can handle climbing here better than chickens. My experience, I greatly like chickens, but I don't have any experience with ducks at all. I just remember the chickens like it warm and dry. And, yeah, they also need rain.
Oh, do you want me to put that up?
They forage too. But
Yeah, they do forage, but I was thinking, and I don't know.
Novel.com?
I just don't have
Yeah,
ducks.
and
It
it's
just
just
seemed like
right on your
ducks you might be able to raise them without grain. I mean, if things got really scary, you could climb this one.
Or tea?
You just click straight on the mouse. It's funny, we like,
Right there at the top of
You
that?
might want to, you know, if you want meat to go with the rice, drop them from the helicopters in the parking lot. We might have to raise more ducks.
I mean,
they
did
do
you set a
well
timer
here.
or am I keeping track?
I did not set a timer.
Okay, I am gonna bring us all back together again.
That's a question.
For a shot.
If you have any post-its that you would like to put up, please do so now, but we'll have some time to discuss as well. We'll bring everybody back together.
I appreciate your faith in me.
Oh, yeah, stickies?
Yeah.
Thanks. Sure. Actually, I'll go around and collect them unless, maybe I'll leave them in case anybody comes up with ideas during our discussion. You might want to jot them down. We're eating pizza in the kitchen. That's also good.
Junk food tax.
Junk food taxes?
I got
I'm not a tax person, no.
I know, you don't want to create more taxes. It sounds good, and then you're like, and then they're going to tax me to have healthy food too.
I have a whole binder all about taxes, tax.
I remember in 8th grade we had like a discussion with our associated student body. No junk food on campus, no soda. We're gonna have vending machines with real juice. It
and I do love it. I mean, basically the takeaway is that like they work when the community members ask for it, and they don't work when policymakers are like,
Yes.
I mean, that's basically. Oh, I was just on camera saying that. Forgot.
Given all the things that you and the rest of the staff are doing, I just want you to know that I empathize with your difficulty in making a 1-minute pitch.
Yeah. We saw the things we're doing,
Right.
so there's a lot.
I know, and you have to find a way to, an umbrella that makes it all make sense.
Yes.
And that has to be priority. So what, I agree with what this gentleman said about a short vision statement. It's really always like the best. But what I was saying with Drea is I think your structure statement could be extended to include your goals, which is where your projects money pool. That, God, then you have to look at that monster and see how you make it. And having had to do it, it's really a struggle. When you were talking
Well, it was just, it's because I feel like I conceptualize it, or I can conceptualize it. But then when someone who doesn't know anything about it, then you're like,
I think it makes sense. Reality check.
What's that?
yeah,
No worries. I'm not worried about it.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's good.
What I think the short phrase is local food system. But it's jargon. Nobody really knows what that means.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Let's see, are we waiting for anybody else coming back from the kitchen? That would be my plan.
2 people.
Welcome to my nursery for work. All right, well, thank you everybody for engaging with this and writing your thoughts down and talking to each other. I had put up on the board, I had originally planned to include this and then I took it out because I thought it was going to be too much, but we do have 5 goals listed out that get a little bit more specific and put that mission statement and structure into practice. So we did just want to put those up on the board so it can add to any discussion, but the 5 goals of the Food Council are 1, to increase food security and access to fresh vegetables and fruit, 2, to increase our local food economy, 3, to shift eating habits through education and access to nutritious and culturally appropriate foods, 4, to grow and sustain a diverse de novo community food council, and 5, to create a comprehensive region-wide food systems resiliency plan centering racial equity and food justice. So that kind of gets into a little bit more of the specifics. Drea also put those under our structure statement, so I apologize if any of that got confusing, but those are up there. How did that go for folks? Did people have anything that they want to share? Any post-it that they want to own as their own? No.
Well, I think your goals are great. They look wonderful. I just have lots of projects, but they take people with energy and time. And so when people are ready for that sort of thing, or maybe there's a committee that does that. I don't know. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Lots of ideas. Anything else that came up? Maybe specific, let's start with just the mission statement in particular. I saw a couple maybe like keywords that people were resonating with. What do folks think of that mission statement? Does it reflect what we're doing? Does what we're doing fit into that mission statement? Do people think it's strong?
I really like to use the word vibrant.
Vibrant?
It just seems that it kind of, without saying it, kind of tells a story of diversity. And I know that's part of what we're here for, to create sustainability and diversity in our food system.
Yeah,
So, what I like about it.
nice.
Would diverse be a better word? Very diverse.
I think vibrant, it fits better because it gives life to it. There's life, and it's not just like surviving, it's thriving. So it gives it kind of sound, but I think it fits really well.
Would thriving be?
I like
a
that
better
word.
One word. Vibrant is colorful.
Vibrant, diverse, thriving.
Resilient. We were messing with the word vibrant over here in this side.
You were messing with it?
Yeah, like we were saying, like, does vibrant make sense? Should it be thriving? Should it be resilient? Is it specific enough? So it's interesting to hear some people love it. And other people thought it was like too vague.
Well, I feel like it needs to be kind of broad though, because, like, I was with Ange and Dave when they were doing a grant writing thing, and she was saying you wanted to keep it broad so that things can be incorporated, so.
I was trying to figure out if local meant was produced locally or consumed locally.
And what exactly does local mean?
Right.
I mean, if you go to Safeway and it says local, it's like it could be from Southern California. Yeah, right. Aw, right.
So what does a local food system mean to all of you on our steering committee? What does it mean?
Well, I was trying to tweak the statement a little bit toward food independence for Del Norte, so that if the trucks aren't running, you know, we still have a local food system. Because I'm sure a lot of the stuff in the food bank comes from outside Del Norte County.
All of it.
So, you know, is that a goal, to have more food sovereignty, food independence here in this area? I think that could be a good, I mean, you got it covered in some of the goals you were mentioning seem to definitely point that direction.
I totally agree with that. I think if that's not something, it should be at least a goal.
Well, because wasn't that like the point when you guys took off and became your own food bank and everything, you were trying to serve more people and you couldn't get like served by the other food banks, you guys were your own food bank, so it, like the regional local food system, but also I think that one of the, like what you're saying, the food sovereignty is very important to here, so the mission statement should be broad, but also encompassing that, like, to build a reliable food system within your county. So, because are we focusing on building the local producer community to make it so that we can source many more things here, so you're not relying on as much coming in from all these places? Or are we just focusing the mission statement on it can be local, but we're just trying to build affordable food for everyone to reach, because, you know, the whole purpose of you guys becoming your own food bank was that you couldn't get enough services. You know, you had to become your own. So maybe kind of asking yourselves that too, like, is it just part of the goals to create the food sovereignty, or is that part of the mission statement too?
Great point. Great
This is
insights.
why I think it's important to include the goals, because if David isn't clear about what local food systems means in terms of that emphasis, I'm sorry, I'm going to object. Personally, I don't like the phrase food sovereignty. It raises hackles. I mean, I like the idea. I like the idea of getting as much growing here and diverse, as possible. I don't know, that word just crosses a line for me about like, oh God, are we going into the state of Jefferson? What did I forget to do yesterday? But if you include the goals, don't the goals address, I can't read them. Isn't there a goal that addresses supporting growers?
Yes.
Yes, it's just as vague, well, not vague, broad. It is increase our local food economy.
Oh, that's.
Which
so-
means the producers selling, marketing, distribution of food.
More specifically, really, you're really looking to support local producers as well as.
Yeah.
And I think that is important.
But we also want to support restaurants and cottage food producers.
I get it.
And so if we just say producers, does that encompass
The
all our
fishermen.
local food businesses?
Yes.
It's really hard to get here. You all know Crescent City is at the end of the line. If 101 gets shut down, our markets don't get their food. So I think becoming as self-sufficient as possible is important. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And when the markets run out of food, hungry people cannot be controlled. They can't be socialized. And you would have a real problem here. So I think, building up your local food production would be very important.
I'm hearing almost two things, or a couple things, and jump in if I'm off base, but it almost sounds like the mission statement is kind of general and simple enough that we're like, yes, I mean, that sounds true, that makes sense. We need more definition if we want like a vision statement, like kind of that overarching vision statement. We need some more consensus on like what does a vibrant local food system mean? Like what is that? And we define that as maybe not part of our mission statement, but as a vision statement of sorts. But also with our goals, I mean, strategy's in my job title and I picked it for a reason. So I want a strategic plan, and I think that there's like the operationalization of how do we put this mission and vision into practice can also use, a process to kind of work through those goals and make sure that the goals are feeding into the vision, is feeding into the mission. But that building consensus, I've heard a lot of really good things about what does sustainability look like here? What does a vibrant local food system look like here? What does local mean to us? And we have the ability to define that. And maybe that's just something we revisit and keep working on. Yeah.
I just wanted to tie in the whole issue of fossil fuels and the food. I think as much food should be produced locally just for the advantage of the fossil fuel situation.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for noting that. Okay. In the interest of time, because we have 15 minutes left, I want to move through and hear if there were any other really important things. Anything that felt significant that people wanted to call out with regards to the structure statement and what the Community Food Council is.
The easiest thing is that the steering committee isn't reflected in the structure statement.
That's what I was gonna say.
Does the steering committee feel good about us adjusting that and updating that structure statement to
Dang right.
to name the steering committee? Okay, sounds good. That one did seem like hopefully a bit easier one. I was pretty excited about this question, so I'm really curious what people thought. But what values are important for Food Council staff and steering committee members to work by, work towards, and uphold in our vision? What were people thinking with that question or that prompt?
The only thing that I put up there was like transparency, because you're working for the community, so I don't, in whatever way that is supposed to be transparent, and just supporting the local food systems, the producers, people who are established, that have a vested interest in the community, that are, here to stay, want to provide more, and how to, do that for our community, because it seems like the biggest interest for people is to make sure that we do have more food coming that's locally sourced for many reasons, so, yeah. That's it.
I know I included similar of making sure we're supporting our local food producers, because it feels like if we want to grow a local food economy and have more access to local foods, we really need to focus on supporting our producers that are growing the food and increasing the amount of producers as well.
I have a friend who's a fisherman, and my impression of a lot of the people who've been here a long time in the food business is they would much rather sell their craft in China if they get more money and don't have to spend so much money on labor than sell it to the locals here. And we're up against that, and that's an issue that people need to be aware of. That we're dealing with investors, and they want, they want their money back, and that is more important than all the semi-disabled people running around who can't get a government job and are trying to survive.
I disagree with that. I think you might be talking about maybe a large commercial operation, but a lot of the fishermen are just local people, and.
Yeah, my friend's a local person,
If there
that's
was-
his perspective, we have to deal with that too, though.
If there was an avenue for the fishermen to sell locally, they would take advantage of it. They would be happy to do it. I mean, a lot of times we just give away fish to people that we know, elders.
Yeah, last month, the presentation from
Josh.
Josh
Yeah.
was all about dock to dish, so the local fishermen.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful, I think it's going to go,
Providing that-
you gotta be aware that a lot of these people
From
have
his-
been watching Fox News their whole lives, and that's where they're coming from.
Well, he was talking about the people that he grew up fishing with, and it seems to think a lot of them are on board with it, so.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe we include something about making sure our local producers are getting an equitable price for their product to make sure that they're thriving as well, and
And exactly, so these large commercial operations, they're going through brokers, middlemen. So they're, in essence, probably getting what they could be paying for locally, because they're cutting out the middleman, the shipping costs, packaging, all of that junk. Yeah, and then weren't we talking about there being like a food map or something, so that we could know who's out in our community? Are we?
The food trail.
Yeah, where's that?
That's our next job, right?
We're talking about working on that and hopefully like launching it in September.
Well, I wish that you guys would use us more, I would love to be more involved.
What is that? What are you
So
talking about?
knowing who's growing, who's producing, what they're producing.
Yeah.
I almost think of it as like a phone book, but for our community.
That would be
Directory.
so cool.
Yeah, where I grew up in Portland, every fall, there was a directory of U-Picks. And you wanted peaches, you had like a whole bunch, and depending on where you were in the metro area, you could go get peaches. You could, there was the address of the farm, the hours, all the rest of that. It wasn't a whole bunch of stuff, but it was a brief synopsis. You wanted, apples or greens or whatever it was that was U-Pick and available.
That would be so cool to like have like a farmer's market or have,
There's a food guide that's produced out of Humboldt that includes Del Norte as sort of an afterthought.
Yeah, definitely an afterthought.
And then they lost funding, and now they're trying to scramble, and someone else is maybe taking it over.
That's what we're talking about, is
Yeah,
doing
so
a
that's
directory in
gonna
that
come.
type situation
Yeah.
for local food month in September, so yes, it is.
it's in the works.
Yes, we agree.
We done one in the past and it was digital, and then Humboldt started including Del Norte, so now that it's kind of fallen under the local food guide for both counties, we've talked about doing our own. But maybe we could at least put together a list
At
that
the
we
very
could
least, a
share
directory.
in June or July, because
Oh, yeah, the
September's
peak
kind of the
season.
end
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
season.
Well,
Do we have some volunteers to help out?
I think
with
Stella
that?
was.
Yeah.
So are we participating in the farmer's market? Because it seems like if you're looking for the providers that aren't aware of what's going on, maybe they could sign up there. I mean, that's kind of a bummer to give up your Saturday to sit there at a table and take names, but.
I definitely think that there's a lot of potential once farmers markets are started again to get involved with local farmers and have presence at those markets and start collecting that information. 100%.
Should we come up with an
Actually,
official
what would be really
form?
cool is if at your table, if some of the local providers could sell through your table, because there's hardly anybody local that's there selling their produce.
Well, yeah, it depends on which farmer's market.
Yeah, that's why we did
Saturday.
that whole workshop on that, because
Yeah.
that's actually not allowed. There's ways to do it, but it's, yeah, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, and if you have just a little bit of stuff, it's not worth to buy the $2 million liability and spend all your weekends there, so.
But you can sell that little bit to the pantry.
Or you can go to Wednesday.
Or the harvest box.
Yeah, or the harvest box, or the Wednesday market.
Or you can get on another certified producer's license and they can sell at their table for you.
She can buy more.
So in our directory, we need how to sell, where we can sell it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think just Del Norte, forget them.
Yeah.
We're big enough.
Hey, we are Northwest region, we collaborate. That's cool, they're part of our harvest box.
But we always
learned a lot
have to
from
piggyback
Northwest
off of them. Like, we have our own identity.
We can cooperate, we can just do our own.
Well, it would be great to feature the Humboldt producers that are selling their
Oh, for
food
sure.
in Del Norte County specifically, like maybe those ones that sell to our pantry that we have a relationship with.
Is there ever gonna be like a farmer's market, like desire to be year-round in an indoor space? Or do we just not have enough people that grow food up here? Like, what's the deal?
Yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
I think yet.
There was a desire to do a farmer's market year-round, but there wasn't enough produce in the winter time
Yeah.
to
Well,
actually
yeah.
have like the farmers there.
Yeah.
If you had a building, there would be. I mean, there is stuff that grows in the winter.
For sure, but maybe not enough people growing in the winter.
That's
because
exactly
I
the
only
issue.
know one farm
Yeah.
that grows all year round.
Well, if you had a building, then you, doesn't matter if there's just one person, you just put up a sign on them that people can see
I
from
think
the
it's a
street
matter
that
of
there's
education.
somebody there today, and you know to stop
Because I wrote
and
it
check in.
for myself.
Everybody can have their own little signs, you know, that they put up.
We just need a Bangin farmer's market too, just up here, just
A what?
a Bangin farmer's market, like a, just, you know, obviously we need producers and stuff, but like the whole, I'm scared to do the farmer's market because I don't want to be in the wind. I dealt with the wind in Arcata, it is not fun, like
Yeah.
holding down that tent. We need an indoor space. It needs to be, you know, because that could also, not for you guys to do, but that's just like a community thing that I feel like it really is.
It's an anchor.
People would talk to each
Well,
other.
if you look at the one in Brookings, they've done a really good
Change the
job
whole
at
culture.
turning that from, it was like a tent, and now
Totally.
they've built a full structure for it, and they have a lot of cottage food, soup in Brookings.
Oh.
The farmer's market there is an indoor farmer's market that runs year
But
round.
their farmer's market is like private and like we couldn't sell our meat there because the people who own it sell beef, so we couldn't sell our beef there.
Oh,
So
that's not
they-
fair.
So that's like.
Yeah, and I can't compete there either, because there's people that, because it's Oregon, they say they're organic, and so they can undercut people who are truly organic. And you can't use that term in California unless you are.
Unless you
In
are
Oregon, like I said,
California, has a lot more strict.
We need our own thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just saying that was an example of a great
No, it is.
indoor
It
that has
totally
grown
is.
significantly, and they do have the cottage foods and the crafts and other products to kind of get through that winter season
It's totally
when there's
true.
not as much produce,
Yeah.
so.
It's doable. It's possible.
We're almost at time, so I wanna honor everybody's time. Actually, I think we're over, but, cause we usually end at 6:45, and typically we have another group coming in, but today we
Not today.
don't.
Not
So
today.
you're not have to rush out of this room like we typically do.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I was going by 7 o'clock. That was my fault.
Then we have a food hub update.
After the next board meeting.
Yes. We don't have much to update at this time.
Oh, what?
Not this time.
The Family Resource Center board was not able to meet this week, which is their normally they have their regular scheduled board meetings the day before our steering committee meetings. They did not have enough for a quorum yesterday, so that will be rescheduled for next week, where they will be voting and making a decision on how the food council will move forward with the food hub and warehouse.
Cool. Unknown.
I'm sorry for going over. Thank you, Aya, and thank you all for participating. I really appreciate all of your input and conversation so much.
Make sure you sign